Hello, investors. This is Connor Bates, Associate Portfolio Manager with Revere Asset Management. Today is Tuesday, February 10th, 4:54 p.m. Eastern Time. Come to tonight's Revere Roundup Daily Market Insight video. Market state, we flipped it back to an uptrend yesterday from that short-term pullback earlier this month. Take a look at trend gauge here, bit of a mixed bag. Leaders quite neutral, and really what's outperforming, what's showing a lot of relative strength is the cyclical areas of the market, not necessarily your typical growth leaders. And so, definitely some dispersion there. And then short term, the Qs rejected the 21 EMA along with the 50 SMA, but the S&P 500 remains above both, along with the Russell 2000 and the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Then long term, all major indexes are above the 200 simple moving average. What happened today? S&P continues to consolidate under the 7,000 level, and cyclicals continue to lead. Chemicals, home builders had a huge day, apparel, construction, hotels, leisure, airlines, transports, industrials, railroads. So really, all those cyclical areas of the market are really outperforming versus your typical growth leaders like a SanDisk or Nvidia, stuff like that. So here are the final numbers. Mixed bag as well here. 21 over 21 list down about 1%. 4 green, 1 neutral, 16 red. Turbo 12 down 2.31%. 4 green, 8 red. Big 8 down 0.26. RG8 down 0.33. S&P down 0.33. RSP showing some RS up 0.36. Tack down 0.5%, Equate down 0.63%, Dow Jones green on the day up 0.14%, mid caps flat, Russell 2000 down about 0.25, 60/40 stock and bond up 0.07, GROTECTION down 0.40%, TurboTection down 0.45%. And chart of the S&P 500, and you can see just kind of consolidating in this range. 7,000 is the clear level, and then this, 67, the support down here. So still in a big old range and have essentially gone nowhere, going all the way back to, 1028 and just been in a big range. Could say this is kind of like a broadening triangle. But again, looking for some direction, but overall have been pretty choppy on the index level. So again, 7,000 would be the trigger to the upside. And then, if you're looking to buy the dip, you need to see 60, 7, this, 6790, 6720 area hold as support in this upper trend line. RSP relative strength, another new high today. And this is where all the action's been. Really nice trend. Continues to outperform. Qs pretty textbook short setup. See if it follows through. But 2 days up into declining 821 50-day moving average weak RS. So again, if this starts to roll over, that could be negative. 580 is the low end of the range, coincides with the 200-day moving average as well. But again, it's been pretty choppy, so it could just be range bound in this range, going from 637 on the high end all the way down to 580 on the low end. Mag 7, similar chart as the Qs, potential bear flag shaping. Dow breaking out of the space, new highs, good action there. Mid caps continue CRS here as well. Russ 2000 acting well. Found support at the 50-day moving average. Broke out this flag. 3 days up in a row. So some consolidation would be normal here. Arc relative weakness. This is about the neckline here, and kind of like a head and shoulders pattern below the 200-day moving average. FFTY tight inside day. VIX still below 18. That's a good sign. Dollar watching this. This 96 area is kind of the low end of the range. Again, now this is just in a big range as well. No clear direction. Gold essentially starting to build out another flag. GDX, same thing here, holding up pretty well. Silver, bigger drawdown off the highs, but still holding 50-day moving average. Bitcoin still continues to be weak. Bonds, wedge popping, TLT. That coincides with the rates moving lower today, and that's why we saw some strength in, home builders and some of these rate sensitive sectors. All right, let's take a look at the tape. Percent of stocks with a 5-day moving average, 68 for the S&P 500 and 59 for the NASDAQ 100. Big week of earnings, 75 S&P 500 companies report this week. Tomorrow we have NFP pre-market, and then Friday CPI. Today's keys, S&P held above the 21 EMA, Qs rejected the 50-day, and then Russ 2000 above the 21 EMA, but below those all-time highs. Going to be watching the same stuff into tomorrow, and then the reaction off NFP. Consolidation 3 days above the 8 and 3 days above the 21 EMA. Sectors wise, home builders, heck of a day. Transport strong again. IGV starting to kind of get that oversold bounce. Solar's acting well. Utilities, nice day. Real estate and builders. And then weakness, metals, financials were quite weak. Oil, regional banks, and retail. GROTECTION today added on to PLTD, which is the short Palantir, and then also shorted Avgo via AVS 1.0 RVAB, estimated balance at risk minus 5.04%. TurboTaxion bought ENPH, added on to AA and COPX 1.46 RVAB, estimated balance at risk minus 6.12%. Bottom line, S&P 500 consolidates as cyclicals continue to lead the market. Let's get into charts. So TurboTaxion added on to this AA position. It's on this kind of tight consolidation day, held this downtrend line breakout, then also added onto COPX, watching this for a potential breakout out of this continuation flag, and then bought a position in ENPH, continues to hold these lows of the range after this gap up on big volume. And then GROTECTION added on to Palantir short, right? Rejecting the 8 EMA, and then also shorted Avgo back into the high end of the range, 3 days up in a row, rejecting the 50-day moving average, starting to look like a head and shoulders top as well. And then you got the neckline, neckline's kind of right here. So again, definitely relative weakness on this one. 21 over 21 list, Toll Brothers, heck of a day here. We own this in TurboTaxion. And again, cyclical sectors are leading the market. Take a look at home builders. Another day up almost 4%, and Toll Brothers leading the charge, is bringing out a pretty beautiful base. So, good one to watch moving forward. Sienna starting to break out of this ascending base look. LUV and airlines, another cyclical sector, acting extremely well. TT coming in at the top end of this double bottom base. A little handle would be ideal. Cat, another cyclical sector, right? Machinery, industrials acting really well. This one continues higher out of big ascending base. ENPH post earnings flag be day 6 tomorrow. PSX, an oil name, getting tight at the highs. RCL, cruise liners have been strong. This one's coming back into the top end of this range. Maybe a handle would be nice. Solar continues to act well, leading sector right now. Apple doing nothing wrong, just flagging here in this cup and handle base. Zoom. So this one's been strong. It's a choppy nightmare, but if you look at the weekly, this is one of the better and more clean looking stage one bases. And the reason this one's holding up is just because they're staking Anthropic and it's giving them huge gains. So this is one to watch. There's definitely some hype around that, but big stage one base, watch for a breakout. ILF, Latin America flagging out at the highs. GE Vernova getting tight under 800. Teradyne, low volatility uptrend continues to act well. CCJ setting up a nice little flag, really like the uranium. So watching this for potential entries, missed this move up, but this one undercut and reclaim this 110 level, and then looking for some tightness. Corning, great, really strong, bit extended here. Micron memory names were a little bit weak today. You had SanDisk down 7, you had Micron down, almost 3. You had Western Digital down 8, Seagate down 6.5. So some relative weakness in memory today. FTAI acting really well. First consolidation after this super linear move out of this big base. FTAI is another top watch right now. Bloom Energy, very choppy since earnings, but starting to form a handle. Coherent, very choppy, but trending. Then SanDisk, relative weakness. See if this can maybe start to form another new little base here. Turbo 12, Qnity, really nice out of this big IPO base. This was a spinoff, but good action there. Major relative strength. AAOI and the fiber optics, challenging a little breakout here. ACMR continues to trend up the right side. Modine, really just strong multi-day trend after this earnings gap. And again, this is where you're getting some of the strength in the market. These non-conventional, non-sexy areas of the market and stocks, and Modine's a perfect example. AA covered that, bought this in TurboTection today. See if this can get some follow through. Take a look at the weekly, huge weekly base and super, multi weeks up in a row and really clean flag right off the 10-week moving average. DOCN, another one, we have a pilot position in Turbo. Would be normal if this tested the 21, could be an ad spot. SOLS, flagging at the highs. Honeywell spinoff. DPST, pulling back a little bit. NXT, another best looking solar name behind ENPH, flagging at the highs. LBRT, another one flagging at the highs. And then, Tower Semiconductor, very choppy, no real entry on this one, but holding up. And then AXTI after a super strong day yesterday, pulling back today. So again, rather choppy in growth land, but right, look at some of the things. Jets, airlines have been acting well. IYT, transports. I covered ITB home construction, but look at XHB home builders starting to emerge out of a huge base. So definitely a big theme shaping up here. You got industrials acting extremely well, trending higher. Basic materials, industrials, another some cruise liners, CCL and RCL. CCL challenging a big breakout here. Let's see what other this MOO. This is an agriculture ETF. Look at the big base that it's breaking out of. So again, REMX, another area of the market that could be setting up. So, common theme right now, it's quite choppy in growth land, right? Look at Rocket Lab. Look at ASTS, Credo gapped up into declining 50-day, rejected. Some other, growthier areas, right? Like IONQ is in a downtrend. Let's see, ONDS. KRMN, KTOS. So again, these typical growth names are quite choppy, and all the action's been in the cyclical sector. So until that changes, that's kind of going to be where we're fishing and what we're watching, and looking for some direction on the general indexes level. Also, as tech has been lagging, so definitely not the time to really be pressing it like you would in a super hot market. So we're just staying nimble, trying to stick with what's working and see if the market can, get a little bit more constructive and some less volatility. So that is going to wrap it. As always, like to hear from you. My email is connor@revereasset.com. You can reach out to me on Twitter at ConnorJBates _. Phone is 855 Real Wealth, 855-732-5932. If you're ever interested in becoming a client, feel free to reach out to me. If you like the video, give it a like, comment, subscribe, share, and see you guys tomorrow.